everybody, Caroline here from the Intuition Hub. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded anything for YouTube, so Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, all those fabulous things. I hope you have had a wonderful holiday season wherever you are in the world. This week I have been contemplating New Year's resolutions. A little bit late, obviously, because New Year's is well and truly past. I think we're about 2 weeks into the new year already. But the reason I've been hanging off on this one is that it is a little bit of a controversial one, because I don't know about you, but for me, over the last few years, I've started to realise that just New Year's resolutions just aren't really working for me. I find that no matter how wonderful my planning session is at the beginning of the year, by the end of the year, there's actually very few items actually ticked off my completion list for my New Year's resolutions, which I don't know about you, but I find a little bit disheartening. So I thought this year, I'd had this wee saying going on in my head, and Einstein, he says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Wow. Maybe you heard that. Hopefully you didn't. There was a few dogs outside having a little chat to one another. Anyway, let's keep going. And so I was thinking about this in terms of New Year's resolution. And each year I sit down diligently thinking about the different areas in my life that I want to change, or what new things I want to bring into my life. But then I find at the end of the year that a lot of that stuff hasn't happened. And I don't know if any of you are like me. Often even the things that I have achieved, I tend to not celebrate because I'm too preoccupied by the things that I haven't achieved and looking at the should've, would've, could've's rather than celebrating my successes. So this year I've decided to do something different with my New Year's resolutions. Instead of them being all about the doing, I'm going to actually focus on the being. And what I mean by being is how I personally show up in this world, how I choose to be in this world. Now, this might not seem like an overly earth-shattering concept, you know. We all want to be good people in this world, but I'm a really strong believer that how we choose to show up in this world determines how successful we are, what we accomplish, the opportunities that come our way, and the abundance that flows into our life. So if I focus on being accepting, loving, having gratitude and showing kindness, then those things are going to naturally be mirrored and reflected back to us, which in turn will create greater opportunities and abundance to flow into our lives. The more I've thought about it, the more this whole focusing on the being makes so much more sense to me. Rather than setting myself up for resolutions that may or may not be achieved, it's actually setting yourself up for success. Because by focusing on the being and how we interact with the world, we're ultimately taking responsibility for the one thing that we actually can have the greatest influence over, and that is ourselves. No matter what else is going on in the world, from pandemics to family issues to work issues to government-imposed restrictions, we always have a choice as to how we are going to show up, how we're going to interact, how we're going to react. And if we do that in a positive way, or in a way that feels aligned and good for us, and by aligned I mean aligned with our own values and the way we want to live our lives, then there's really no reason that we can't achieve those things. So as I thought about this even more, I realised as we shift the focus back towards ourselves, we are then encouraged to really trust in the bigger picture, because we haven't got these goals or things that we want to tick off our to-do list like we normally would with a New Year's resolutions list. In some ways, New Year's resolutions are a way for us to influence and predetermine the direction of our life. And there is a vehicle or a way of obtaining what we think we want. But I don't know about you. How do I know what I really want? As the saying goes, we don't know what we don't know. So perhaps our purpose here is actually about being and becoming the best version of ourselves, while trusting in the universe or higher power, or whatever you'd like to call it, that they'll guide us and provide us with the opportunity to live our best life possible. Now, immediately when I talk about trusting the big picture, I know for me, and probably many of you out there, you automatically think, oh, you seem a little bit wishy-washy or passive, and we're waiting there for some fabulous things to happen in our life, we'll just sit quietly and be good. But trusting in the bigger picture isn't about patiently waiting and being passive at all. We still need to be an active participant in our lives. By that I mean we need to be up to taking action. Now, if you don't have New Year's resolutions, this can be a little bit tricky. Like, how do you know what to take action on? Well, the good news is we all have our own inner GPS, our intuition, our gut instinct, whatever you like to call it. And that is the universe's way, or our higher self's way, of letting us know the things that we need to take action on, or the direction that we should be moving in. But the thing to remember with this is that our intuition is super subtle. So it's going to let you know of things it'll be a little feeling or a reoccurring thought in your mind, or it might be someone having a conversation with you and reconfirming something. So it's not necessarily going to be something super obvious to you. And learning to trust and listen to our intuition is really the challenging part about this whole thing. Now, I've got a few other videos in my playlist that can help you with trying to grow and trust your intuitions. I'll leave a little link above and you can have a wee look at those and see what takes your interest. There's a few other things that occurred to me as I was exploring this whole new approach to New Year's resolutions. And the first one was that it's pretty much foolproof, because there's no way any outside influence can actually derail you. Because when we're focusing on our own actions, everything starts and ends with us, and it's a conscious choice. And it's independent of other things that are going on in the world. The second thing that occurred to me is that it gives us the freedom to learn and grow, because we're not locked into or invested in specific outcomes occurring. So if things change or circumstances changing, we can pivot and ride with it and go with really what feels right for us and what feels aligned for us. But finally, and most importantly, I think this whole new focus on being really gives us the freedom and the permission to truly be ourselves. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. I know it's probably a little bit left field and maybe a little bit of a controversial topic, but I think it's good because it's important that we get out of our comfort zone and look at things from different perspectives sometimes in life. And that's what my YouTube channel is about, is just sharing some of my thoughts and ideas on things and seeing what you think about them. Simple. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's video and want to keep up with any future videos, please subscribe and click the bell below so that you'll be notified whenever I upload something new. Until next time, I'll see you again. Ciao!